capacity 26,208 L tons, cubic capacity 898,000 bushels.
We're at the Sault Ste. Marine Museum,
Okay.
and we're gonna go see Ray's display from all his sports activities and memorabilia from his Olympics.
Oh, look, and your picture with the glass replaced. My goodness.
There and there, so there we go. It's really nice to have it. Yes.
Very impressed. That is really
Isn't that lovely?
Oh, that is super, Ray. Wow.
Yeah.
Now, there's a picture there that I have that's come to the surface that I haven't seen. Your Canadian Olympic boxing team.
Which am I?
Which are you? Well, you're the welterweight in the back row.
He's tall, I know that.
Yes.
I didn't know.
And thin, would you say?
The Bell Telephone Company of Canada.
That was, you told me that was how you're the office manager that decorated the window like that
Yes.
for you to
Yes.
welcome you
I got
back?
back,
Yes.
In
yes.
fact, I came across
I
the.
had this one and the ties of cups. We didn't keep the cups out of your business. Try to keep it clean.
Keep polishing them, eh?
Oh, I'm so pleased that's what I was so amazed at, was the special passport.
Right.
Document that they had.
This
Your
is,
your special
Ray's
passport.
corner right here, all his
Yes, it's all
Olympic
in one little-
material
I'll get you turned
memorabilia.
around this way and so that you won't have the glare of the light on it. How are you? That's your passport, and then that was the special insert that was given just to the Olympic participants.
Oh, okay, but you get to see.
Oh, I
each
do.
other.
I remember it was tucked in there, and I was so impressed with it. Really?
Bonus, this is my mission pass.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Confederate pass.
Gee, maybe
Just
I
like
should
this.
bring the shirt with the blood on it from that.
Oh my, we got that too?
Mustn't wash.
You won't let it be washed.
No, I mustn't wash
Which
it.
shirt got blood on it?
There's 5 different kinds of blood on it.
Really? How
His
come?
Olympic shirt.
None of mine.
Boy, you don't want to wash that for
Yeah,
sure.
It's quieter this time of year because everybody is.
It's got Austrian.
Christmas shopping.
Austrian, Irish, Japanese,
So do you have a little balcony outside your room?
Argentine,
Yes.
French.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yes, okay.
Well, that's a lot of mixed blood.
Right.
Oh, and you must take a close up at this album, and it's got, see, it's got here what everything is, and isn't that impressive the way they got that? Boxing gloves belonging to Ray Smillie, written in ballpoint pen on the back of the one. Ray Smillie, Canadian Olympic Trials, Montreal, July 1928, winner, welterweight, 147 pounds. That's item number 1. Item number 2 in front is the identity card issued for the 9th Olympiad, Amsterdam, 1924. That's that little card.
No, I don't.
And number 3,
Carmen asking, I suppose.
identity card issued for 9th Olympiad. Oh, I'm sorry, number 2 is the black and white photograph display of the Bell Telephone Company. And number 3 is the identity card. Number 4 is your Canadian passport. And number 5 is a tram
Well, it took us
ticket.
a while to get the things up. It always takes longer than you
And
think.
number
You know, I don't know why that is.
Well, see?
Yeah.
And do you know what I came across too? Is a set of the Olympic postcards. The special Olympic postcards in 1928 of Amsterdam, all the different
Oh, yeah.
arenas and that.
They should be in
I
here
have
too.
some of those magazines, Olympic Spielen.
Is that right?
Oh, I know.
Magazine
Yeah.
of the issues of that
Because
time.
he's got all these different
And then number 6 is several medals achieved by Ray Smillie, including a bronze Olympic medal he won in the 1928 Games at
It
Amsterdam.
isn't there.
It's not there, boy.
I'm there, I'm not wearing a belt.
You're not wearing it today either. Well, maybe someday. Maybe someday.
Maybe
you'll
someday
make
he'll
your
get
little-
braces, eh?
He'll get suspenders.
He'll get suspenders and then he
red
can-
suspenders.
Red suspenders and get rid of his,
So I know where it
You know
is.
where it
yeah.
is.
And number 7 is the framed photo of the 1928 Canadian Olympic boxing team. That's this one around the end here. And then number 8 is the official Olympic program from the 1928 Olympic Games in Amsterdam, and that's the program back there.
That was the track and field.
Yeah, and then all your,
Yeah.
oh.
The photo is really good, isn't it?
It is,
With
and-
the, with the ribbons and
that.
Oh,
everything. Yeah.
and they did an admirable job of, you know, redoing it because it did show its age.
Well, I mean, that's, what can you do,
Sam and I
right? I
were
mean,
cellar stairs for.
Oh, well, yeah, well, yes.
Well,
That was better than where it was
Chance
hanging
of
at
the
your
sun.
place.
Oh, that's very good.
Oh.
How long,
maybe 2 weeks or so, and so we would probably, we do rotate things around, but we'd probably leave it, you know, a year like this, and then we maybe move it or move things around, because we like to give them a rest every so often, too, because we don't want them all fading out in the light.
No, oh, well,
That's very
this is
good.
so impressive, it really is. And as I say, I certainly think that those things found their proper home, where you can share them with the, and particularly in Sault Ste. Marie, because that's
Well, this-
where
yes,
everybody,
yeah.
you know, is,
there's not much competition.
come on.
No, I know, but I say, in as far as the Olympics go, George Westman and Paul Walls
Right,
and I are the only ones that participated in
right,
the Olympics. Westman got a gold in '28 for the hockey,
right.
and is he still alive?
I don't,
He's a dentist, you know.
yeah, I
Oh,
don't.
no, he isn't.
I don't know.
No.
He has a house right down there, just below the golf club, on the south side of the Manhattan River. Yeah, he was one of the hockey team. And my son, brother-in-law's brother was on the same team, Bill Hudson.
But is it, maybe it's harder to come from a small place and go that far, do you think?
Pardon?
Or maybe it's harder to come from a small
Well,
place
you're-
and,
Well, let's face it,
I'm saying
1928
one way,
Sault Ste.
you're
Marie.
fighting against a bigger bunch
yes,
in a large place.
yeah.
And the facilities too, have to
Well,
have
this
to
is
play a
like the
part in it.
training and
Yeah.
everything. Yeah.
Try to take pictures here too of the display, that's
Very imposing.
very imposing.
Do you know, he used to swim with Johnny Weissmuller, you know Tarzan?
Really?
And he could have been picked as the
Oh,
Tarzan.
and swinging through the trees. Film, trying to
been
put it
cheetah.
that
Now, there's nothing.
Yeah, cheetah now.
There's nothing here about my swimming career.
Right.
No, well, see, they'll have to get another.
All I had was one medal, Ontario Championship.
Right,
But I raced against Johnny Weissmuller,
really?
Buster Crab. I didn't win, that was a relay races.
Right, oh, yeah.
Weissmuller was with the Illinois Athletic Club in Chicago, and
Right.
Buster Crab was at YMCA in Buffalo.
Right,
I was Central Line in Toronto.
in Toronto, oh, so,
We used to have some good. And then I saw Johnny down south. I used to go down there every winter for about 6 years on a big yacht that I used to drive back and
oh,
forth.
yeah.
And he was the Swimming Hall of Fame was right in the Pier 66.
Oh,
one of
right in the
famous-
waterfront there.
Famous marinas there.
Uh-huh,
I used to tie up there because it's one of the few places we had long enough to get in there, you know, at the
Yeah,
side. And this Hall of Fame was right across from when I used to go over there, and we used to spend different evenings chewing the
that
fat.
and reminiscing.
Hoisting a few.
Yes, I wouldn't be surprised.
When you were in training now, Bob.
Oh, I'm sure.
That was orange juice, of
That
course,
was,
he's
no,
talking
I'm
about.
sure it
This
wasn't.
was just back in the 70s.
Uh-huh.
But he was a big man then. He'd gone jolly.
Uh-huh.
He had heavy cheeks. What?
You just keep talking there. You just keep talking.
You'll get good response from these lights, won't you?
Oh,
Yes,
absolutely,
yeah.
yeah. Mhm.
I have a camera too, but mine's been sitting doing nothing for so long and trying to fix it up. And I got a bad hand and
Right,
and there's so many buttons to press.
Larger.
Like,
You got
Came
fed up
up.
with it, did
I
you?
just had
Yeah.
to bring that
Yeah,
person.
I finally got one, I don't know anything about photography, I finally got one that just does it all for you, like it focuses and everything, you just press one button and
That's the best.
that's
They
my
call-
speed, right?
That's
Like
my
it
speed too,
really is.
I call
can-
the video proof.
Yes,
That's why-
exactly, that's it. right?
That's what this one is supposed to be.
Yeah, well, that's the kind I like, right, I don't want it to be.
This is a good, you got a good idea.
That's, those sketches were done, we have, a little girl from, she's in grade 12 high school, and she's in visual arts, and she's a co-op student, so she comes, 4 afternoons a week, and she's good, her sketches are really good, she's,
Mm.
so
This is
when
certainly
we,
a good way to explain what.
Well, sure.
well, it's better than cluttering up, putting all these little labels
Yeah.
inside, I think, because then you
Yeah,
can't,
you
they're
can't
harder
get
to
close
read
enough, do
anyway,
they?
so.
You see them.
But we're lucky to have her, because I know I can't draw, that's for sure.
Yeah, when I-
Now, is this all done on a computer? This is.
It's, well, she does the sketch, and
Yeah.
then we do
Action.
we key the words in a computer, and then we use the photocopier, you know, put the sketch on and all, and
Oh, yeah.
photocopy it on that sort of stiffer card stuff. But her drawing is just like a freehand
Yes.
sketch that she does, you know. But she's good because she's accurate and she's fast. Some of the artists are so fussy, you know, they
Yeah.
never finish
Yeah.
anything.
Oh,
I made
yeah.
a mistake in my name, that's the only thing.
Where?
Read it.
F-
Or not the name.
Not your name.
No, not the name, the weight.
Wait,
Middle debate.
Oh, middle debate, and what's,
Another debate.
and what's Boston? Oh, boxing.
Bob.
Yeah,
Oh,
B-O-X-S-E-N,
okay.
boxing.
That's the Dutch,
Oh, of course, yes.
Amsterdam.
That's a really good design of it, it's really
Yes,
attractive.
yes. Well, I have his clock. There's a lovely mantle chime clock.
Uh-huh.
Did you
And
frame them out?
It is
Hmm?
presented to
No,
him
those
by
are
the
original.
City of Toronto.
Those are
Oh,
original.
I
yeah.
said, I don't think the City of Toronto is giving out mantle
Oh,
clocks anymore.
No, I doubt it, I doubt that they would be.
And it wasn't working, oh, this is years ago,
Uh-huh.
and I said, well, I'll go and I'll store it for you, I'll
Right.
get it fixed.
Right.
And my
There.
sister said,
There's a
what do you
frame
want
shop.
that thing for? It did nothing but get us into trouble when we were kids, because it was always you being
I
by
just
the
used
time
that,
the clock strikes
Right,
such and
oh,
such,
sunshine,
like Cinderella.
say, yes. Oh, boy.
And I said, oh, well, I do have some
What does it say here?
pleasant memories. What is this, Dad?
The ribbons.
Oh, those ribbons are poetic license. They're, you know, just,
To match.
we just threw them in for an added
Just to
color
give
in the
it a bit of
case.
a
Yes,
color.
that's what
Nice
it is.
catch,
It's
right?
Yeah.
decorative touches, right?
Very cosmetic. isn't it?
Yes.
Well, I have to bring you back down the bloody shirt.
I have to see
He
that,
wants
yes.
the color.
What are these?
Oh, these are other displays, we'll have a look at those too.
No, we had to wear our shoes and our socks and trunks and shirt while you're fighting. Well, now, of course, they have to wear headgear and everything.
Right, yeah.
But ordinarily, it would just be stripped of just the trunks and
Right.
so you had to weigh in with all that stuff. But I found that
Oh, so the 147 pounds was completely decked out, was it? It wasn't
yeah,
just your weight?
no, you had to be here in the waterways, you had to be 147 pounds even or under.
Oh, with all your, like with your shoes and your trunks and your,
Because they made you wear them with the, weigh in with the stuff.
with your gloves on too?
Yeah.
Yeah,
All the gloves were, they were 6 ounces.
right. Well,
That-
still, after all that.
But it was most of the time you were fighting, you just played in strips and then you didn't fight strip, but the weight was decided on it.
Right.
That was one of the most popular weights in boxing, the welterweight, weren't people are in that weight.
Right.
Like I think here there were 25
Uh-huh.
contestants in that,
Really?
and lightweight would have a few, they'd have about 20, until you got up to lightweight, middleweight, and light heavyweight, it might only be 1 or 2 or
Really?
3.
That's
So,
interesting.
but the lighter weights were always more.
We're always the more.
Navy is nice.
Today's his wife's birthday.
Oh, so this is a
This is a
birthday.
birthday outing.
Outing,
We're
oh,
gonna-
neat. Happy
So-
birthday, that's
Sir,
good.
we're gonna go across and,
Mrs. Lola's birthday, so this is a birthday outing that we're.
Those two watches are very good watches. They're Hamilton and Illinois. Watch, they're railroad watches. That was the Olympic trials
Right.
at Montreal, and this was the New England championship. But I used to have about 8 or 9 watches. And that was
Really, that would be something that was
one of
often
the popular.
things like
I remember the first time we got a wristwatch. You practically had to be a fighter to wear it.
oh, what,
You
people,
were a sissy.
oh, I see, oh, it was that sort of
Yeah.
law of adult, sort of.
You had to be able to back it up. And I
Oh,
got,
that's not interesting, I never knew that, yeah.
and the first one I got, it was in what was, it wasn't Maple Gate, it was the old Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto. And there was a cup for first, and the watch for second.
Okay.
So I won the cup, and I said, oh, I got lots of cups, I'll give you the cup.
Trade,
And I
eh?
take the watch. And Lou Marsh was one of the maybe old sports writers in Toronto. He gave me quite a lift in his column. What a good sport I was giving him.
Giving up.
I didn't want the damn.
You had something more useful, eh?
First watch I ever had.
what's another coffee?
Yeah.
Get enough cups.
Oh, dear. See all these stories that come out that we
Yeah.
wouldn't know existed, right?
Yeah, that's true. I bet there's lots of naval stories too,
Oh,
right?
wow.
I bet.
Well, there'd be some
yeah.
rough-
Yes, you have to practically pick a day for your subject, you know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good books that are called Snappy, Salty Dips.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Dip is a story thing.
Right, oh, okay.
It's true stories, I mean. Some are expurgated.
Some are not
There's
sure.
got
Something back in
three,
Boston, but.
they got 3 volumes out now, and
Uh-huh.
they're very good. I know quite a few of the fellows that wrote the books on the Navy. Jim Lamb, he wrote the Corvette Navy, and the Triangle Run,
Oh, okay.
and then this, the one that they just bought me one down, and been storing it for me. I wanted to be sure to get them, so I'd have it to show to some of the other fellows that come in, the Navy fellows, called The Far Distant Ships.
Uh-huh.
It's the best story of the Canadian Navy, of any of the most true to.
Right, true to life, like not,
And it gives you a whole list on the back, in the back of everybody that had a ship.
really?
Which ship
You must be
commanded?
there, are you there?
And 6 times.
You there, well, there, I thought you would be, yeah.
I have 4 corvettes, 2 minesweepers, and a destroyer.
Boy,
But they're all listed there, how long I had them.
right,
So if there's any arguments, I can always, that and the Navy list, I got
right.
the last one of the full Navy list, that was July 45. That was, it was building up, right across the war. It started out pretty thin, and
Right.
it got bigger and bigger as we had more and more.
Did you have like, what was your favorite ship? I mean, kind of ship, like, did you like the
Well,
destroyers or the Corvette?
For comfort, the minesweeper was,
Right,
had a beautiful quarter, the hole under the top, under the bridge was
oh,
I could seat about 20
for,
for dinner, and I had
boy.
my own
Man,
dishes
isn't
and cutlery and own steward and everything.
Right.
That was really a fight.
This is why we say he was out fighting his poor war, you
I
see.
see.
that-
One of the ships you were on, they shot the movie. What was the name of that movie that they
Corvette
shot?
224.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
that movie was shot with one of the
Really?
ships that here.
Yeah.
That was good. We were in it because we were the only ship that had an upper bridge over the Aztec
Right,
on the bridge. And I was the best rabbiteur in the Navy at that time. The rabbiteur, you're getting things for nothing, or for rum, a keg of rum here.
That's where you got that, those guys in New York Harbor, was it, or something to do it?
Well, I got the money from them, from Lease Land in New York,
Mhm.
and that was to get the board, the planking, and all the supports. And I got the Newfies up, Newfie dock people up in St. John's to put it on for a couple of kegs of rum. And the rum cost $11 a bottle.
But there was lots of giggles in those bottles.
Yes, I bet so.
Yeah, well, that was powerful stuff,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's with Screech too. That was
You didn't dare light a match
no,
near
that
it.
would be true.
That rum was, it put you up a whole deck higher than the bridge. So you could see 5 miles farther. And then eventually they decided, well, I got hell for it to start with, when they found out. But we did it a kind of a fait accompli, had it all done before we
Wait,
showed
Before you
it.
told anybody about it.
And then they came out afterwards and admitted that it was a good thing.
Good idea.
They instigated it in all the new ships.
Really?
Corvettes coming out, they added it on top. So I can always tell in that Corvette 225, that's a Kitchener actually,
Uh-huh.
but it had this deck on
On
top,
top of it.
which they were using my old ship for that part of the picture.
Neat.
So I can always tell, there were about 5 of us standing up there, lobs ahead, but I'm one of them.
You're one of them.
A real
isn't it?
rough weather picture.
I've been after him too. He has some beautiful portraits of some of the ships, the ones that are named after cities, like the Brantford and
Right.
the St. Boniface
Uh-huh.
and Riviere de Lou. And I thought, those pictures should go to those cities.
That'd be an interesting
For there.
idea.
Oh, they have.
Oh, you think so? Just like I sent your 1921 graduating picture to Central Technical School in Toronto, and they were just so pleased to get it. Because
Well,
they-
actually, for any naval park you'd have in here, you should have a picture of the Sault Ste. Marie. It was a Algerine minesweeper. I
Uh-huh.
had 2 of them like it, the Wallaceburg and the St. Boniface. They were the most comfortable. They were the ones that had these
There's
lovely
big
quarters
quarters in
down.
there, eh? Oh,
And then the cities would adopt them.
Oh,
The individual
yeah.
cities that they were named after.
Right.
Corvettes were all called after towns,
Uh-huh. Oh,
and the destroyers after rivers.
right.
The cruiser, we only had 2 cruisers that go back to the Ontario.
Uh-huh.
But all through the
Obviously, they were
day,
after all the provinces.
Yeah, it must have been.
like they say, the river class destroyer is
Right, it's,
one of the ones that's called after the river, but
oh,
it
I
has
see.
special features about it. And some of the tribal class was a very good class of destroyer. They were all after tribes. There was
Wow, oh, yeah,
Micmac,
no, was there not
the
wrong?
Huron, the Haida,
Yeah, oh, yeah,
the
okay.
Huron.
Isn't that interesting? So I never made any sense out of that at all. Like, I mean, I didn't know there was
Yeah.
any scheme behind it.
Well, when you were on a ship, they said, what kind of ship you on? Well, I'm in a tribal or I'm in a,
Oh, I see, okay.
and then the different Corvettes. There's a lovely book I have just got recently of Canada's flowers
Uh-huh.
ships, and they're all named after flowers. And they started out with about 30 of them from the UK, from the Royal Navy, that we
Uh-huh.
got as part of the Lease Land arrangement. And they were the original flowers, like the snowberry and the raspberry and the different ones.
Right, right.
And then as they added things to them, and got bigger, they changed the names just enough so that you could tell it was a little different one from the early ones.
Right.
The early ones were rather stubby and pretty wet and
Uh-huh.
uncomfortable. But they added, as I did with this deck on top of
Right.
the bridge, they added a whole bunch more to the forecastle.
Uh-huh.
And instead of the water coming in and washing, the old ones, the galley was about midships,
Uh-huh.
and then the forecastle was up ahead of that. And to get to your meals from the galley
Right.
to the mess where the mates were eating, and always were ones assigned to carry these things back and work. They'd have to watch the waves and then we could
Like to
dash.
take it, take a run, that's
And
what
they'd get
started.
hit broadside and everything went all overboard or off. So they finally extended the forecastle, so they stopped. That was one annoyance, they stopped, but they also made room for maybe 50 more ran a war.
Aboard. Oh,
As the
sure.
new weapons came out,
Uh-huh.
you needed more people to shoot them, and
Right.
they were more sophisticated. So the original ones had about 65 per crew. And when they came to the castle class corvettes, they were pretty like a frigate. And they had about 170.
Are you okay? Do you want to check?
You've been on steady, Ray, so that's great.
Am I in some of those others?
Oh, I
You've
think
been
we-
in steady.
Got a foot or two.
We should have a chair in here anyway, right?
Thank you very much.
Well, that's really something, Ray. That's a really nice display.
Well, in the American Navy, it's even more distinctive because they have all the classes. From the top down, the aircraft carriers are there's a name like Enterprise or some brave name, you know.
Go ahead, that's okay.
Like a magic. And then they get into the cruisers, the heavy cruisers. They're of the different states.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
they're really battleships, like Missouri and all.
Yeah,
that.
okay, no. I've heard of those.
And then they get down into the later cruisers, or towns again, or cities,
Right.
and the destroyers, and will be, sometimes they have river class there, and other ones that, but you can just say, well, what are you in? Well, I'm in such and such.
And everybody would know, I mean,
They
it's
know
like
that.
a whole language all its
Yeah.
own almost, yeah. It's interesting.
Because they all varied. There's only one original Corvette now, and it's the Sackville, and it's tied up in a permanent berth at Halifax.
Oh, yes, at the
Yeah.
naval yard there and that,
Well,
yeah.
it's right in the dockyard,
Uh-huh.
and it's made up of thousands of pieces from other ones that they've.
Oh, they sort of cannibalized, have
Yeah.
they, one and then?
Because they gave up the original ones, because they were getting better, faster, and there were bigger
Right.
ones. And so at the end of the war, they said we should have something to recognize or
Nice,
commemorate the Corvettes. You look around and gee, this one was about the only one that they could find, and it didn't look much like the original Corvette, because it had been turned into a weather ship.
Oh,
And a geodetic survey one.
Oh, okay.
Going all over for the different marine departments. This is after the war. So they used it as the base. And now it's as much like an old Corvette as they.
so they restored it
Yeah,
back,
all the
sort of thing.
mast and all the
Yeah.
different parts have been rebuilt or
Right.
we got from
Yeah.
some of the old
Oh,
wrecks,
nice.
the ones that were. And then some of the destroyers now, like I had the Niagara, that was one of the four stackers.
Mhm.
Four stacker meaning they had four boilers,
Right, and,
and you could tell them right away.
because they have the four funnels, what
But
they
we
have?
took two of the stacks out to make them into two stackers because if we could get 29 knots out of them
Right,
with the four, but you use up the fuel that much faster.
right,
So in the convoys, they didn't need that much speed. They needed something in the 20-knot range. But so they took two, that gave them, one I had would do 22 knots.
right.
And that was enough to
Keep up. with-
chase submarines
yeah.
on the surface. So as they were scrapped, they had such good steel. These were ones that were made in the first war
Really?
in the
Yeah.
States. And they mothballed them between the wars.
Right, right.
And they had hundreds of them scattered around in different parts of the States, different Navy yards. And but they had such good steel in them. The Gillette bought up most
Oh, for
for
heaven's
razor blades.
Oh, really?
Imagine. Oh, for
Isn't that
heaven's
interesting?
sake.
So most, the razor blades you might be shaving with,
Were-
part of them.
Amazing.
And it has to be a really high carbon hard steel, and
Yeah.
really?
And even the
Oh,
Corvettes had a good steel in them too, because at the end of the war, most of them were scrapped. Some for keep on running little coastal jobs, but a lot of them because of the steel.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was a special kind that they weren't ordinarily making for certain things. Well, there's lots of stories.
Oh, I bet so, yes.
Well, Ray's had a really interesting life. I get a kick out of just listening to him
Yeah,
because He's put more into a life than most people.
Well, no, this is what I think.
4 times more than most people do.
Yeah, so many different careers, right? Like you can add it all, really.
Oh, he's been, he retired from the Bell and then went down to, and stayed, and commanded a pleasure boat down in the South Seas
Right, well, that must have
for,
been fun.
for,
Was that fun?
for Canada's
Was it-
pipelines.
Was it like the Love Boat?
No,
No,
it was a
what?
big yacht,
The big
66
yacht.
66 foot yacht,
Yeah.
for the National Sewer Pipe Company.
Yeah.
It was called the ceramic, because they made ceramic
Oh,
tile.
okay.
And they used to use it for, they couldn't advertise in the ordinary way, but at least they could, but they didn't. Because all their best customers were municipalities.
Oh,
and-
okay,
Right,
yeah. So what did they do?
They were talking about to chief engineers and different ones like that. But they had to kind of butter them up. So they'd take them out for a week or week and 10 days.
Right,
For a trip. We could take 4 couples.
Oh, I
I could
see.
sleep 12, but
right,
on a boat like that, every one extra you have on, you get under your feet.
right.
So
Oh,
it's better-
okay.
It's much better if you got a boat that sleeps 4 or
Right.
6, to just have 2 or 4 people.
Right.
And you won't be under each other's way all the
No,
time.
that's true, because it's small quarters, I guess.
But this one, we sailed around Georgian Bay in the summer, facing ourselves in Midland.
Right.
And then in October, we'd head south
Well,
down,
that would be nice. I know the Georgian Bay would be really nice. That would be
right down to Miami.
Right, oh, boy.
Because they had, the boss had a big house there. And then we'd run over to Bahamas.
It doesn't hardly sound like a job. It sounds
Well,
more
I
like
think he,
fun, right?
I think he enjoyed it. I think
It was something I enjoyed. And I'd had a
he still likes boats and
I
ships.
had a 40-foot cruiser here before, motorboat.
Right,
But that was, it would sleep 8. But it got expensive, the gas kept going
not,
up.
yeah.
And then the rates of the moorage.
You start going up too, yeah, the marina.
We used to get
and
for about 3 cents a foot. And the last ones I was paying for the big boat, 68 cents a foot. And that can run,
Yeah.
Starts adding
For a
up.
it's
big
just for
boat.
overnight.
Yeah,
But you got a lot of things. You had some of these big marinas like that, Pier 66. It was just like a hotel. You had all the showers,
right.
and restaurants, and everything attached to it. So we'd go into there. But they got so expensive, and then they wouldn't let you write off. They couldn't write off a lot of
Amazing,
stuff.
yeah.
through advertising. So I finally gave it up. It was like driving a bus for that. You go over the same way.
Same route sort of thing, it would be the same,
And then
yeah.
I started going on the big, pay to go.
Oh, yeah, so, yeah.
Yeah, that's the way to,
Is that fun?
that's what I'd like to do.
Yeah,
Yeah, the queue, like the Queen Elizabeth II.
right, yeah.
But they want about 21,000 per person.
Right, right,
And that's
right.
about 90 days
Right.
around the world.
Right,
So I've given that up. I'm setting my sights a little lower.
not going around the whole world, eh?
My first mate won't go with me anymore.
First mate's just smiling in the background.
She used to be. We did several of us.
Did you
We
lots
have
of
about
cruises,
7 or 8.
yeah?
Caribbean, Mediterranean,
Right.
Rio de Janeiro, and Alaska.
That's,
Oh, Alaska would be interesting.
we had one down to Rio there, 34 days.
Uh-huh.
Over there for the carnival.
Oh, boy. Oh, I bet that was fun.
Stella Solaris.
Saw so many people.
Right,
The
George.
tide.
That's many stairs.
Time from
Yes. If you ever go take a cushion.
Take a, oh, all right.
take a cushion. For what?
Huh?
Think of soft chairs.
Carnival. Remember the hearts that
Oh,
we
boy.
had to sit on?
No.
Really?
Some people took towels.
Oh, yeah.
What do you mean it's out in the sun?
No, to sit to watch the carnival, the seats
Oh,
were...
down there, yeah. Gee, Rio is about 6 million
Uh-huh.
population.
Never so glad to see a bus
And
in
there were
my
about
life.
twice that many. They came in from all over the country. They were sleeping all over the lawns.
Oh, boy.
sidewalks. It was a mess. That went on for 6 days. We only stuck out, we only went